While initiatives in conservation, technology and policymaking will certainly bolster Guyana's aim towards sustainable development, it is quality education that will condition the minds of our future generation and lead to transformative development of the country. On this episode of Government in Action, we look at the education sector and programs and initiatives that will promote the goal of an education nation. Education sits at the very heart of an interconnected plan toward the transformation of Guyana. Moreover, quality education is among the United Nations Development Programme's Sustainable Development Goals, which serve as a global call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity. At the United Nations Summit on Sustainable Development, held in New York in September last year, President David Granger in his address said that education serves as the mother of all goals, as it is the gateway to reducing inequality.
Guyana over the next 5 years will have as one of its foremost priorities of national development the provision of inclusive and equitable quality education and lifelong learning opportunities for all.
Investment in the human factor has been seen as the most important aspect of developing a nation. Where education is concerned, such an investment can clearly be seen with a $40.3 billion allocation, 17.5% of Guyana's gross domestic product being plugged into education. It is with the goal of investing in the human factor that Education Month was observed this September under the theme, Each Child Matters, Stakeholders Unite for the Enhancement of Education. At the launch of Education Month, Minister of Education Dr. Rupert Roopnarine said that a concerted effort is indeed needed to provide equitable and quality education for the country's young people.
I truly believe that if we are to inspire our children, if we are to provide them with the necessary energy and the necessary skills to make themselves productive and whole human beings, we have a lot of work to do. And this work, I keep stressing, is going to be best done if we forge an active partnership between the schools and the home.
The minister added that each stakeholder plays an important role in helping to mold the minds of our children, and further called on groups such as parent-teachers associations, non-governmental organizations, and other groups to come together and form active partnerships that will contribute to this goal. Seeing the far-reaching benefits with regard to development, education has been placed at the forefront of President Granger's agenda, and this can be seen through the transformational initiatives that have been implemented within the last year. Chief among these is the President's flagship 5Bs initiative, which aims at providing boats, buses, bicycles, breakfast and books for school children across the country. The initiative, which falls under the Ministry of Social Cohesion, focuses on improving school attendance by solving the problem of transportation and the provision of resources and basic meals. President Granger has emphasized the efficacy of education in the eradication of poverty.
Education is the foundation of equality. One of the reasons there's so much poverty is because there's so much inequality. And once the child of a rich man and the child of a poor man or woman have the same education, they then have a chance to be equal. And with that equality, you have a better opportunity at employment and making sure that you have a good life.
So far, 10 boats, 12 buses and 450 bicycles have been donated among the 10 administrative regions. The initiative is also testimony to a positive relationship between the private sector and the government, as the donations for the boats, buses and bicycles have been made possible due to participation from corporate citizens. First Lady Mrs. Sandra Granger has played an active role in the 5Bs initiative, and has also added another element of support with a donation of over 2,000 pairs of shoes to hinterland children under her Shoes That Grow project.
Your government is committed to ensuring that every child receives the education which is her or his right. This is why it has adopted the slogan, Every Child in School. It is also the reason for the 3Bs initiative, buses, boats and bicycles, which has now evolved into the 5 Bs with the addition of breakfast and books. Because your government knows that if children are to benefit from the education they receive, they must have the means to get to and from school safely. They must have books that they need for the subjects they are studying, and they must have food in their bellies so that they can concentrate on their schoolwork.
With the foundation set for ensuring access to school, school attendance, and punctuality through the 5 Bs initiative, other areas of focus that supplement the development of the education sector include the rehabilitation and maintenance of Guyana's educational facilities, as well as the improvement of conditions and remuneration for teachers. In fact, the focus on teachers, the instruments of education, forms part of the government's focus with regard to education, as they are tasked with imparting knowledge in the minds of our future generation. Earlier this month, on the occasion of World Teachers' Day, the President launched the One Laptop Per Teacher initiative. Headed by the Public Telecommunications Ministry, President Granger said that the future of education requires that teachers be equipped with fuller knowledge of information and communication technology. ICT also allows for Guyana to be on par with international standards of learning and performance.
The world has entered the information age. Information and information technology and innovation are transforming every facet of human existence. ICT is revolutionizing education. It is transforming the manner in which information is assembled, organized, and disseminated. It is changing the way education is delivered in the classroom.
The OLPT is a revamp of the One Laptop Per Family initiative, launched under the previous administration. The President said that the OLPT has its genesis in 2011, when, during a visit to the Rupununi, he presented a teacher with a laptop, which led to the overall improvement of her efficiency as an educator. Advisor to the Minister of Education, Mr. Vincent Alexander, who spoke at the ceremony on behalf of the Minister, said that this program will greatly contribute to the improved delivery of education.
What in effect we are doing is tooling teachers for improved delivery of education, while equipping our students to better receive that education. The laptops may be used for the purpose of accessing information, they may be used for recording, for record keeping, as well as they may be used as a learning resource in the classroom. Any or all of those usages should impact the delivery and receipt of education, and in so doing, improve the quality of education.
The e-government agency's Secondary Schools Internet Connectivity Project also helps to achieve the goal for greater ICT in schools. As of September, 100 educational institutions in regions 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 were connected to the e-government network and provided with internet access. Plans to extend this network to communities in the hinterland have begun and are expected to be executed next year. The e-government connectivity program can be seen as contribution to the implementation of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, which President Granger has said should be embedded in all levels of the school's curricula. Yet, even with these developmental initiatives in place, the goal is not only to ensure attendance, but to improve performance at all levels of school. At the opening of the 13th Annual Conference of the Caribbean Area Network for Quality Assurance in Tertiary Education, CANCATE, President Granger explained that the creation of a large pool of highly qualified graduates requires a strong framework of quality assurance in education at every tier of the educational system. The President said that Guyana and the Caribbean as a whole cannot compete in the global marketplace unless its economies are populated by a sufficient number of qualified graduates.
Quality assurance at all levels of our education system, therefore, requires a fresh approach based on robust institutional frameworks and vigorous investigation and inspection. An institutional framework must be created in order to ensure that standards are established by which quality education delivery and performance can be measured.
The CANCAID conference also brings to light the important role of quality assurance in tertiary education to the development of a Caribbean single market and economy, CSME.
Quality education and the services of an accreditation council, which assures that there is quality, is critical to the development of the most important asset of a nation, its human resource, and by extension, the very development of the society, which relies on its human resource to spearhead its development. My colleagues in cabinet and in the ministry are tired of hearing me say that the reason we cannot afford to fail in education is that if we fail in education, everything else will fail. It is that central, and we take it that seriously.
Earlier this year, the government made clear its commitment to ensuring that necessary infrastructural and other improvements be made so that the University of Guyana can produce quality graduates. Of course, the President's push to enhance education does not go without acknowledging the social issues that affect school attendance. The President has highlighted that an average of 4,000 children drop out of school every year, and of those who do complete school, many do not matriculate or achieve enough passes to make them employable. This occurrence is of major importance to our head of state, and it is the need to bring about its reduction and ultimate eradication that drives the President's vision to implement programs and initiatives that aim to achieve this goal.
Each one of you is important. There must be over 250,000 school children in Guyana at primary and secondary level. There are 250,000 of you. And each one of you is an individual. Each one of you matters. And that is what education is about. Each one of you has a right to education. Education under our Constitution is an entitlement. And we want to make sure that every child in Guyana goes to primary school and goes to secondary school and has a full education.
The recipe to achieve the President's vision is a simple one. Students must have access to school, must attend school regularly, must be provided with the necessary resources, and must strive to attain the highest possible level of education. Investing in the future of our country calls for investing in our children, and presenting our children with the gift of education is the surest way to achieving the goal of sustainable development. This is Jasmine Payne. Thank you for joining us.